Okay, let me know just, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm having some technical issues today.
Oh, really? Okay, so you can let me know if you have any questions in the middle, and I would be there to answer out here.
Okay, I can see you.
Okay, perfect. So, so thank you for joining for this session, today's session. So today we are going to cover out the topic on how to perform bulk export operations in Salesforce using BOFC app. So there are many export operations in the application. So today we're going to cover about 4 topics out of them, right? So for today, the highlights for us would be, um, we're going to cover the first topic would be how we can export field permissions from multiple profiles or permission sets. The next would be how we can export multiple layouts. And second, how we can export field presence metrics report in BFC. The next topic for today would be how we can export process builders and the flows. And the last one would be how we can export multiple objects in the fields in a single click. Apart from this, BFC also has many other features in the export category, which includes you can perform your um, action on your validation rules, workflow rules, right?
Hmm.
So you can perform export operations on page layouts. We have many more export operations which you can perform in the BFC application. So first of all, just a brief introduction about the BFC application. So it's a native Force.com application which is designed for developers and admins to perform the bulk CRUD operations in few clicks. So there are many features which comes directly with this application, which in account is 22 features with multiple categories. So let me take you to the application, how it looks like in Salesforce. And let me just show you how you can traverse to this application. So this application is supportive in both Lightning and Classic, so you can use it in any way. So from the app launcher, this is the Classic mode. From the app launcher, the same way in the Lightning, you can open from the Lightning mode as well. In the app launcher, you will see the application called BOFC, Bulk Object Field Creator. Once you open the application, the homepage will have different kind of categories. So the blue bar are the category, and each category is going to have different kind of operations, like field operations. We have many operations: object operations, profile operations, field permissions, export operations, clone operations, layouts, permission sets, validation rules, process builders, and many more. So each category has different kind of features in it. So today, the first topic is how we can export field permissions from multiple profiles. Now, the first question is, what is field permission? Every object and every field in that object is having two kind of permissions, whether the user can edit it or user can read it. Now, each permission is linked to a different profile. So in short, one profile can have multiple objects and one object can have multiple fields. So in order, if there is a scenario a scenario in your business that you want to take an export of 10 profiles, sorry, you want to take an export of 10 objects for the different 10 profiles, uh, in that case, you have to open each and every object one by one, open each and every field one by one, and you take a extract of all the permissions there and copy them in the Excel. If you perform the same operation with the help of BOFC, you can do it in next few clicks only. How we can do it? Let me show you. In the field permissions, you can go to the category called field permission. And here you can just choose an operation called export operations. In the export operation, you can just select the profile. Just give me 1 second.
I can see you again.
Okay, perfect. So from here, once you open the field permission page, the first option we can choose which type of field permissions we want to export. We can choose profile. Now, what kind of action you want to do it? You want to export. We can select the export field permissions. Now, for which objects you want to take an export, you can just select the objects. You can choose any kind of object, manage object, custom object, or a standard object. Once you select all the objects, you can select the profile for which profiles you want to take an extract, right? And once you're ready with all this configuration, you can just click on this button once. So now wait for a few seconds till the status is completed in this. Okay, it's processing it. Okay, so once the processing is completed, you can just click on this link and you will have the file with you. This file looks like. So we have selected 3 objects. One ABC, one is ABC object, and one is asset. So first tab is for the first object. In the first tab, you will see there are first 2 columns which depicts about the field properties of that object. What is the field label and the field name? The column which are highlighted in the column F and GH are nothing but the profiles which you have selected out to take an export. Now, if you will see the first, it is a custom sales profile, edit permission, custom sales profile, read permission, right? So the permissions which are marked in the orange means that these are not assigned to the profile, and which means in the green they are being. Let me show you some other object. Okay, yeah, this one here with the green one as well, right? So in this object, you can if you want to compare this field. Now this field is editable on the custom profile, right? And this profiles. So in this way, you can have an extract of all the permissions of multiple profiles for all the fields in a single click. The same thing you can do it for multiple objects, which we have just done it. So using this feature, you can take export of all the field permissions of multiple objects for the multiple profiles in a one click. Any questions here?
No, I like that.
Perfect. So the same thing you can do it for the permission sets as well. The way we did it for the profiles, the same way we can do it for the permission sets. Now, apart from the export, you can also compare it. So if you will see in this Excel sheet, this is nothing but a combination of both things. It's a combination of export as well as a compare as well. So here it's doing a comparison as well for the different profiles for the same field, and it's also giving you an export. So it's a combination of 2 things: export plus compare. Any questions, or we can just move ahead?
No, not right now.
Perfect. So this is how the field permission work. And in case, apart from these 2 operations, export or compare, you can also perform bulk update as well for the field permissions. I think that we have seen in the first session which we conducted. Oh, sorry, in the last session, the last webinar we had. Okay, so we have just covered the topic called export field permissions for profiles and permission sets, right? So today, the next topic which we have is how you can export the page layouts and the metrics report. Now, as we know, what is a page layout? So page layout is nothing but the layout which is visible to the user when he or she opens any record in the standard object or a custom object, right? Now, layouts could be of multiple types. It could be a standard layout, which is given by Salesforce. It could be any custom layout which is being added by the any user of the org, and there could be managed layouts. The managed layouts are the layouts which are being part of the managed object, which comes from any third-party applications. So this application can help you take an export of all kind of layouts in a few clicks for multiple objects. This is what we have the first feature called export basic details of the multiple layouts. So basic details means you can export all the details of the layout. Now, the second feature which we have in the layout is check the field availability on the layouts. Now, let's take in a scenario, you have a case object, and on the case you have 100 fields, and on the case you have 5 different layouts. Now, if your manager asks you, give me a report of all the fields and give me a report and tell me which field is available on which layout, right? So in Salesforce, there is no direct way to get the report of it. So you have to do it manually by open every layout. You have to take a note of all the fields one by one in the sheet, and you have to do for all the fields one by one. So the same thing you can do it using BOFC in just one click, right? So this is the second feature in the layout, which is called check your field availability on multiple layouts. Okay, so let's see how it works in the BOFC. So you can go to the BOFC homepage and you can traverse to the page layout category, the page layout operations. From here, we can click on the first link, which is your export layouts. Okay, so this is how the screen looks like for the export layouts. From here, you can select out the first object. First, you can select multiple objects which you want to take an export. Let me take multiple objects. So I have selected 3 objects, ABC, case, and company, right? Now, first we will see how the basic layout export comes out, and then we'll move on to the second one. So once you select the objects, you can just select the button, fetch layouts, and it's going to show you all the layouts of all the 3 objects. Now from here, you can unselect or you can select any specific of layouts which you want to take an export. So let me select all the layouts. Now, once you have selected the layouts, you can just click on the second button, which is to initiate your export. So once I click on it, it's going to download the file for me here. So once your file is downloaded, you can see all the 11 layouts are being displayed in the same file with 11 different tabs. Okay, so we can see, first of all, we can see there are 11 layouts we have selected out. So each layout is being depicted here in the different layout tab. First layout. So the first layout name is of the ABC object, and the name layout is called ABC layout. And here are the section details. This layout has a first section called information, and these are the list of fields on this first section, and these are the behavior of each field, whether the field is required on the layout or if it's editable. The next column shows what is a column style, whether when user is going to fill out the form on the layout, is it going to be when you click on the tabbing, when you do the tab from one field to another, is it going to come from top to bottom or from left to right? So in this way, it gives you all the information about all the sections which are there in your layout, and you can easily take a um, a backup of your layouts. In this way, it gives.
How do you tell what's, oh, okay, I see. All right. I was going to ask you, how do you tell what section it's in? But I see now how you do that.
Okay, yeah. So these are different layouts of the different objects we have, and one sheet easily manageable for the multiple objects. So this is how the basic layout which comes out with all the details about the section in the different tabs. Let me close this whole files. I guess we are good on this one, right? Basic one. Can we move on the next one?
No, I'm good.
Okay, perfect. So the next we have is how, okay, now let's come to the next scenario, which I've already shown you. Let's take an example. I select an object which has multiple layouts. Okay, I take the case object which has 5 layouts. I take company object which also has 5 layouts. And I go with the second option, which is your export field availability, right? And first, my first task is to get the layouts of these 2 objects. So it shows me 10 layouts of these 2 objects. And from here, I can select or unselect the layouts. Let me take all the layouts. Now, when I'm going to click on this second button, it's going to give me a report of all the fields of the case which are available on these 5 layouts, whether they are on the layout or not on the layout, right? So let's see how the report comes out in the result. So we'll wait for a couple of seconds for the process to get complete. Okay, so once the status is completed, we will have a link here. You can just click on the link and it's going to give you a file here. Okay, so here the file is. Okay, so we have selected 2 objects, case and account. So each one is having its own tab. So let's go with the case first. The first 2 columns shows me the name of the fields which are in the case object. The rest columns are the name of the layouts. Now, let me take first this field, contact fax. Now, the contact fax is not available on any of the layout because it's being marked as orange is a false. If let's take a good example, we can take this one, a close date. Now, close date is available on these 4 layouts, and it's not available on this layout. So in this way, you can easily depict which field is being used on layouts and which field is not being used on the layout in a single sheet, in a single view of that. The same you can do it for the account object. Now it shows that this trade style field is not used on any of the layout. So in case if it's not used, you can make a process to clean up your system as well. That this field is not being used on the layout, so and it's not having any dependency, so you can plan to remove it as well. So using this sheet, you can have a single view of field availability on multiple layouts. Any questions? Any doubts here?
No, so this is all the fields, right? I mean, this is the entire field universe.
Yes, it's all the fields of your particular object, account object.
Got it. Okay, so all right, that'll be interesting. God knows we've got tons of fields on some of these objects that haven't seen the light of day in 100 years.
Yeah, so you can just get the like inside, like little bit inside, like which fields are used on the layouts, which are not used, and you can plan to remove them by checking a couple of more things. Right. So let's move on to the next feature. So this is how you can export the layouts and the metrics report from the export layout feature of the BOFC application. The next feature which we have for today is how you can export your process builders and flows. Now, have you ever created any process builder in Salesforce? So Andy, any process builder you have added in the Salesforce?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Okay, have you created any process builders in Salesforce?
Yes, we've started using process builders in the last year. Actually, we like them.
Okay. Now, how the process builder are like, it's a kind of a flow chart which start the process at some point and it goes from there, right? So if I take you to this process builder, just an example. So we have the start process, we have this tab to select the object on which the process is and what is the action for it. And then we have the criteria and the actions, right? Now, in case if there is a requirement by your company or the business that you want to take an export of all these process builders with all the information like what are the different criterias, what are the different actions, and what the different actions are doing up, right? And if you have 100 process builders in the system and you are being asked to take export of it or you take a documentation of it, right? And I guess it's really a tedious task if you open each process builder one by one, you have to open each task one by one, each action one by one, right? But using BOFC, you can do the same task in just few clicks. How you can do it? Let me show you. In the export operations, we have a feature called export process builders, or you can also visit the category called process builder in the flow operations, and you can click on the link called export process builder, right? So Andy, have you got any requirement to take a backup of your process builders or do any documentation of process builders?
No, not yet, but I'm sure that'll be coming down the line.
Okay, okay. So once you open this page, you can just click on this button, fetch active processes, and it's going to give you a list of all the process builders. Okay, in some org, it restrict direct connection. So in that case, you can just click on this button, manage org, and here you can add your environment. So environment is nothing but your Salesforce org from which you want to take an export of the process builders. So you can give it any name in the name for just for your remembrance. You can enter your username of the org from which you want to take an export of process builders. Password. It's a token. It's a sandbox or a production. You can just check out the box. You can add the token here, and you can add the instance name. In case if you face any issue, you can just use the help question helpers, and you can get the information in these all the mandatory fields. So once you fill all these fields, you can just click on the save and your connection would be added in this list. So your environment would be added here, right? So once your
Got it.
environment is added, you can just go back to the same screen and you can select your environment which you have just added out, right? So once you select the environment, you can just click on this button once again. Now it's going to the next step. It's retrieving all the details of my process builders in the system. So once the status is completed, you can just click on the view results and it's going to show you all the process builders in your system in form of a table here, right? So it will show you only the process builders which are active, and it's going to show you only the active version of that particular active process builder. So right now, this process builder is active and it's the version which is active is version number 6, right? So if we see here, if I go in the list of process builders, and this is the first one which is visible there. And if you see the version number 6 is active,
Yep,
right?
it's the one on top. Yep.
Yes. So this feature only shows because if person is going to take an export, he's going to take export of active only, not the inactive ones, right?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yes. So now here there are two options. You can take different kind of backups from here. First, if you want to view how the summary is going to look like for this, you can just click on this link, view process summary. Now this is your just the name of the process builder. You can ignore it. Now from here your summary starts. Step 1 starts. Step 2, this process will execute on an object called account only when the record is created. Now if I go to the process builder and if I open it, this process start. The object name is company, which I have changed to account. Object name was account. I have changed the company here. The account object is object, and this process will start when the record is created. The same it comes here in form of a wording here. The process will start on the object account only when the record is created. Next, step 3, all the criteria boxes. So criteria boxes are nothing but the decision box here, this one. First, the first decision box is test. The name of the box is test. The criteria one, the criteria name is test. In this way, it lists out all the criteria as well here and all the actions which are there in this decision box. Now, after the criteria is done, then it will come to the actions. It just has one action. It has two actions. The first one is test update, and the second one is contact record. Now, if I go to the BOFC, the first action is test update. Second action is contact record. So it in form of a wording, it gives you all the backup of your process builder so that anyone is going to read them later. If you want to do your documentation, he can easily do it in using this application. You won't have to do it manually in Excel for this. So this is how you can have a quick review of your process summary one by one. Now, in case if you want to take them export in the Excel sheet, you can do it for that as well. So once you select all the process builder which are there in your system, you can click on this button, export detailed summary of all the flows. So once you click on it, it's going to give you a same sheet, the same file in form of an Excel sheet. The summary which I've just shown you, it will give you in the Excel sheet. Let's check it out. Okay. So can you see this, the one process builder, and here the same summary. The process starts, the process will execute an account object when record is created. All criteria boxes, criteria 1 test, action 1 test update, and all. So every information is there documented for you, right? In the same way you want to have it out. So in this way, you can easily take a backup of all your process builders if it's required, depending upon the business requirements. Any questions here, Andy, before we move here on the flows?
No, that's very nice.
Now, there are two things. Either you take a backup in the Excel along with the summary, and there is another option where it will just export all the process builders without the summary. So if you click on the second button, this one, which is in W/show summary without summary, it will just give you a process name, process ID, version number, and description, and on which object it is. It won't have the summary in it. But if you click on the last button, it will come out with a summary as well. So both way you can do it as per your requirements. So this is how you can take export of process builders for this. Next comes is as per today's topic is flows. How we can take export of flows. It works in the same way as the process builder work. So only the difference is it's a flow and that was a process builders. So from here, I will just select my org, and it will show me all the flows which are there in the system. Okay, it shows me all the flows. The only difference between the flow and the process builder right now here is, in the flows, you can just take export of flows without the summary only. Right now, uh, uh, me and my team are working to get the summary as well for the flows as well on this. But right now, it will come out without summary only for this. It will give you the same table, this table which you can see in form of an Excel sheet. Any further questions on this process builders of flows?
Nope. I think we're good on that.
Perfect. The last topic for today is how we can export multiple objects in the Salesforce in a few clicks. Now, there are in BOFC, you can export multiple kind of information in just one click for multiple objects, right? Now, let's talk about one scenario, like if your system has many objects and if you are being asked to take a backup of all the object details, custom fields, standard fields, relation to record types, field permissions, system fields, then how you can do it? Two options: either open each object manually one by one, copy them from Excel and just copy it. Second way is to come out and use this application. In this application, you can export multiple kind of information in just few clicks. So in the object operations category, you can just go to the fourth link, which is export details for multiple objects. Once you click on this link, it's going to open this page for you. The first option is you have to select your objects for which you want to do an export. Let me select the objects. You can select any number of objects here. So once I select the objects, I can just select what kind of information I want to take and export. You want to export object details, standard fields, custom fields, validation rule, record types. If required, field permission, you can also select field permissions. System fields. Now, what are the system fields? System fields are the fields which are, you can say example is created date, created by last modified date. Like who has added this field in the system and who has last modified this field in the system. So those fields are called the system fields for the objects in the fields. Now, system fields only exist for the object if it's a custom object or for the custom field. These fields are not available for the standard object or standard fields. The reason behind is system objects or a standard fields are created by automatically by Salesforce when your org is created, right? So the date of them is the same date. But for the custom object or the custom fields, it always has a system fields values. Now, in this list of the type of export, if you are selecting the field permission, then you have to select for which profiles you want to take an export of field permissions. So I can select any number of profiles from here, right? So once I have done my checks on this page, I can just click on this button to initiate the process to export. So let me initiate. Now let's wait for the process to get completed here. So once the processing is completed, it will give you a link and you can use that link to download the file. Okay, so the status is completed and the sheet are ready here. So you can just click on the first link. So there are two links here and I will explain you what the second link does. So let's see the first link first. Okay, so this is how the file comes out for the export multiple objects. Let's go with the tabs one by one. So we have selected four objects, ABC1, asset, case, and case test, right? So the first section shows you about the object details, all the details of the object. Now, as this object is a custom object, so you will see the system fields as well as here. You can see these custom system fields. The second section is standard fields. The third section is your custom fields, which we have selected out. If you will scroll down, you will see the section for the validation rule and record types. If there are any rules or record types in this object, they will come here. Now, we have, let me just show you how the system fields comes on the custom fields as well. So if you will scroll right, in the last, you will see all the four system fields for the custom fields. So who has added this field, when it was added, if it's modified by someone, and when it was modified. So these four columns are system fields of your custom fields here. So if we compare from our action, we have seen the object details, standard fields, custom fields, rules, record types, and system fields. Now we are left with how the field permissions come out in this sheet. In this sheet, every object is also having another tab called underscore FLS. So underscore FLS means the object name underscore field level security, which is your field permissions. If I open this tab, for this object, these are the field permissions, standard fields, and all the profiles which I have selected out. Solution manager, the read permission, edit permission. The second profile is a custom marketing profile, and third profile. Permissions for all your standard fields and permissions for all your custom fields. In this way, you can get export of multiple objects with multiple properties, and every object you can see the details of it here in one sheet with all these kind of information in just few clicks. This is how the export object work in BOFC, and it can give you a lot of information in few clicks. Any questions here, Andy, on this feature?
No, I think we're good on that one.
Okay, perfect. All the features which I have just explained you can, on every feature page, we have a link for the blog or a video, whichever is available. So you can refer the same steps which I have followed on the blog page also, or on the video as well. It's a short video on the YouTube. You can refer that video and you can just perform the same action which I have just shown to you. I missed out this link, download only custom fields. Now, in case, let's take an example. You have a scenario and you want to insert the same object in some other org, right? You want to insert all the custom fields from one org to another org. So what you can do is you can take export of file from here, this download on the custom fields file, and you can go into that org and you can just import the same file using the feature called bulk field creation. That's it. No need to change any formatting. This application will automatically import all the fields of that file into the system. So this is how you can use the second link in case if you want to use to insert your custom fields in any object. Let me just come up with a couple of more things on this application. So
Sure.
in case if you want to refer any kind of documentation of this application, you can refer this link on the home page, which shows you all the videos, all the blogs of this application here. Sorry. So you can refer all the videos and the blogs links here, which are there on this application, right? So every feature has been explained in the blog, so it is very easily you can navigate to the application. But still, if you have any issues, any concerns, you can go to the settings In the settings, I have given the support information. This is a support information. You can contact me anytime, 24/7 on the email, phone, or chat. These are my personal details. You can drop an email to me. You can contact me on the support, or you can call me directly on my number or Skype. So I would be there 24/7 to help out on any kind of issue, any concerns, any demo, any guidance, anything on this.
Wonderful.
Perfect. Apart from that, there are a couple of more links on this application. So if you want to traverse how the web page of the BOFC looks like, so this is the official web page of the BOFC.
Yes, I've been there many times.
Perfect. You can also get the release notes, like what is the latest version in the market which is working on here. So you can get the details about the release notes from the BOFC site also. Second way you can get the release notes are on the settings page. I have given the tab for the app version. So this app version will tell you what is the current version in your org which is installed, and what is the latest version in the market which is there in the application. So in case if there is any difference, then you will see this link button here, and you can just click on this button and it will upgrade your old version with a new version in just one click. You won't have to go any Appexchange for that. You can directly upgrade your version from here only. Right?
Yep,
and also
good.
you can view the app version history from here, which is the latest version in the market and when it was released. Right? So no need to go to the
Okay.
Appexchange to install or uninstall it. You can directly do it from here only.
I
Okay,
like that.
perfect.
Very
So
nice.
I guess I'm done from my side for this. So any perfect. Thank you, Andy. Thank you for joining the call.
Thank you.
And
Hey, can you tell me, are you going to do, or do you have any videos or how-tos on importing? I mean, we've covered a lot over the last last month on exporting.
mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
anything on importing?
Okay. So what kind of import you're looking for?
Well,
Import.
let's say I was going to create another object,
Okay.
and
So
especially
what?
if I
Let
was
me.
going to,
Mm-hmm.
if I was taking an object out of another instance or our sandbox and wanted then to bring it
Okay.
into our production.
Okay.
I wasn't
Now,
sure, you know, I'm trying to do it without being so manual about it. I mean, you've got these awesome exports, and I
mm-hmm.
figured they must be able to be
Okay.
used in the opposite direction.
Yes, you can import. You can directly import it from here. Let me just guide you how you can do it. So in the application, you can go to the BOFC field creation feature, right? Now from here, you can select the object in which you want to insert the fields. Let's take an example. You're going to insert the fields into the ABC object, right? You
Right.
can select your profiles. You can select the layout. Now here we have three options. You can import your fields from some other org. Let's take an
Which
example. You
I
have
learned about last time, and I appreciate that.
yes, that's the way you can import the fields from from any other orgs, right? You can add them manually, or you can choose your file, like I have explained you in the export feature. So you can
Okay,
download the custom field.
so your file mapped to your export automatically,
Yes, yes.
which is
So you can
great. Okay,
take.
I've never had a chance to use that, but I'm getting so many requests now for
Mhm.
custom objects.
Okay. So what I will recommend you, you can either, there are two options. Either you can take export of all the custom fields from using export feature, and then you can import using the choose file, one option. Second option is you can import directly from that org by just adding the connection of that org, and then you can add the object name from where you want to export the fields, from where
Okay.
you want to import the fields in here. Both way you can do it. Only the difference here is between these two are when you're going to do it using export file, you can just remove any field which you're not interested to insert, or you can limit the fields. Using this feature, if you're going to do it directly from import, all the fields will come in the form of table here. So it's all depends upon like how, if you want to import all the fields of the object, or you want to import only specific set of fields from there.
Oh, okay. So it would take even the fields that aren't being used and bring those over as well.
Yeah, it will just show them in the table only. It won't insert them. The final insertion will be there from your control only.
Got it. All right, perfect.
Let's take an example. I'm trying to import all the account fields from this particular org, right? So what I will do is, I will just enter the information. I will click on this button, and it will show me all the custom fields of account object in this form of a table. Now, from here, you can select which fields you want to do a final insertion into the ABC object here in this org.
Oh, okay.
So once you select all the fields, so still you have the last control, which fields you want to do. And if you want to insert all of them, you can select all of them and you can just click on this button. So both way you can do it. It's up to you, up to you.
Okay. I haven't gotten
on this feature. On this feature, I'm coming up with a blog and the video as well, and I think it will be ready by Saturday. So I will personally send out to you the video for how you can import the fields from multiple orgs into the same org.
Great. So what's going to be our next webinar?
So next webinar is going to be on 2nd of April, and then the second I think on next was on the 2nd of April, which is our Thursday, next Thursday. And on next Thursday, we are going to cover 3 topics. One is this one, how you can import your fields from external orgs, the first topic. The second topic is how we are going to do bulk lead conversions using multiple ways. Like if you have leads and you want to convert them in bulk, you can do it using bulk lead conversion. And the last topic would be how you can get to know about the field and its usability, like which fields are usable in your system and which fields are not usable in your system, and you can get a complete a sheet of it.
Oh,
so
okay.
These would be 3 features which are going to cover in the next topic, which is going to come on the 2nd of April.
Wonderful. Okay, well, I'll be on that one.
Perfect. So we'll surely drop an email to you with all the details, and we're happy to have you on the phone.
Thank you so much again for your time.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Andy. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too. Be safe. Bye-bye.
Take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.